The summer air hung heavy, thick with the promise of rain, as I stood in my backyard, rake in hand, staring at the drainage ditch I'd tended for years. It wasn't much to look at: muddy, leaf-strewn, practical to a fault, but it kept the water flowing, sparing my house and my neighbors from the wrath of July storms. That neighbor, Linda Voss, had other ideas. She'd just been crowned president of our homeowners association, and to her, that ditch was an eyesore, a blemish on her VY shown of suburban perfection. Little did she know, her crusade to bury it would flood her own basement and unravel her reign in a way no one saw coming. It all started innocently enough. I was clearing debris from the ditch behind my house, a routine I'd followed since buying the place a decade ago. It funneled runoff from my yard and Linda's slightly higher property into the city's storm system, keeping our low-lying neighborhood dry. Without it, water had a nasty habit of pooling in the lowest spot, Linda's walkout basement. She either didn't know or didn't care. When Linda took over the HOA, it was like watching a librarian decide she was fit to run a rock concert. She didn't just enforce rules, she invented them. Mailbox heights, banned garden gnomes, and now, her grand plan, beautifying the easement. Her voice dripped with fake sweetness as she pitched it at the HOA meeting, while VYing a diagram of a gravel-filled trench where my ditch stood, topped with tiny shrubs and a smiling cartoon sun. I nearly spat out my coffee reading it in the newsletter. This wasn't landscaping. It was a disaster waiting to happen. I figured no one would greenlight such nonsense, but I underestimated Linda's sway. Within weeks, a crew rolled in more party planners than landscapers, with yellow gloves and a cement mixer. They declared my ditch a nuisance. Linda strutted to my yard in yoga pants, clipboard in hand, and smugly announced the ditch didn't meet neighborhood aesthetic standards. I tried explaining it wasn't decor, it was hydrology, keeping both our homes dry. She laughed, winked, and said, maybe get a pool instead. At least that's useful. That afternoon, they sealed the ditch with plywood, dumped gravel, and planted 2 twiggy trees like sentinels. Neighbors shuffled by, offering weak shrugs or pitying glances, but no one dared challenge Linda. She had them all cowed. I tried one last time to reason with her. Linda, this ditch stops flooding. Block it, and water will go downhill straight to your basement. She waved me off. My foundation's sealed. The HOA voted. It's done. Then she slapped me with a DULA 25 fine for unauthorized soil disruption. I stared at the sky, dark clouds brewing, and smelled rain in the air. A storm was coming, pulsing on the radar like a heartbeat. I could have dug the ditch open myself, but Linda had cameras up. Instead, I got smart. I snapped photos, took videos, time-stamped everything before and after. Then I waited. Nature would handle the rest. That night, the storm didn't just arrive, it roared. Rain lashed rooftops, thunder cracked like splitting bones. From my dry porch, I watched water pool in my yard, blocked by Linda's gravel masterpiece. It hesitated, then slunk sideways, sniffing out the slope to Linda's pristine backyard. Her lawn ornaments bobbed like corks, her patio furniture tilted, and then the real chaos began. Her basement windows fogged from inside. Water was in. Lights flickered. A shop vac wailed, then silence. By morning, Linda charged across the street, pajama pants soaked, shoes squelching, while VYing a soggy HOA violation slip. "This is your fault," she shrieked. I calmly handed her a stack of EVY Denke, city easement maps, photos of her gravel dump, VY Deos of last night's deluge. Her jaw tightened, her eye twitched. Neighbors peeked from blinds, one pretending to rake leaves just to eavesdrop. "You planned this," she hissed. I shrugged. "You blocked a ditch in a floodplain. Physics did the talking." Then I added, "Check with your insurance. Floods from landscaping negligence aren't usually covered." She stormed off, splashing through puddles, the queen of gravel dethroned by her own arrogance. The neighborhood buzzed quietly after that, but Linda wasn't done. At the next HOA meeting, she flashed a slideshow, blaming her flooded basement on my malicious hydrological interference. She tossed around terms like gross negligence, even tried banning me from meetings for threatening safety. I sat in the back, silent, as a board member timidly asked if her gravel project caused the issue. She brushed it off as cosmetic. Another pointed out her concrete barrier blocked a public utility. She called it a necessary upgrade. I didn't speak. I didn't need to. I'd already cited City Hall, showing a zoning officer named Tom my denke, property lines, easement diagrams, photos of Linda's handiwork. He raised an eyebrow at the gravel-stuffed ditch and asked if the HOA had permits. I told him they'd fine me for objecting. That sealed it. Days later, city inspectors arrived, poking at Linda's gravel with steel rods, measuring elevations. Linda stood in her driveway, arms crossed, glaring. When they asked to check her property, she slammed the door, demanding a warrant. The city hit the HOA with a citation, restore the ditch in 30 days, or face penalties. Linda's newsletter rant accused the city of targeting her over neighborhood politics, even hinting I'd bribed officials. Her allies backed away, and I dug deeper, combing old HOA records. Linda's power came from bullying and paperwork, wearing people down until they gave in or moved. But a neighbor, Sarah, changed everything. She slipped me a flash drive with emails showing Linda knew her basement was in a flood basin before buying. She'd pushed the HOA to hide flood risks for better insurance and filled the ditch to boost her property value. Armed with this, I got a retired engineer friend, Mike, to draft a report on the ditch's role and the fallout of blocking it. Just before the city's deadline, Linda claimed she'd appealed the citation, ordering no one to touch her gravel. I fired back with Mike's report, the city's order, and a single line. Further delay is obstruction and will be documented. The next morning, shovel scraped. A crew cleared Linda's gravel, water flowing freely again as she watched from an upstairs window. But Linda wasn't finished. Days later, a truck dropped a decorative water feature in her driveway, a concrete basin, to redirect water toward my yard. She and her nephews built a makeshift dam, slowing the ditch's flow to keep her lawn dry while flooding mine in heavy rain. I didn't confront her. I mounted a wildlife camera, streaming to the cloud. Friday's storm hit like a hammer, rain pounding, water hitting Linda's barrier, backing up, then surging over, collapsing her channel. It roared into her basement, shattering a patio door. Furniture floated, sparks popped, and my camera caught it all, including Linda's frantic silhouette moments before the flood. By morning, her backyard was sludge, her porch sagging. City inspectors returned with my footage, confirming her structure OLAD runoff laws. She faced environmental fines and refused entry again, digging her hole deeper. At the next HOA meeting, Linda didn't show, sending a vague note about a personal crisis. The room crackled with defiance. Neighbors shared stories. Fines for barking dogs, asymmetrical yards, even a frog statue banned after Linda's rewrite of rules. The treasurer revealed she'd misused HOA funds for her project, sparking gasps. A vote of no confidence passed unanimously. Linda was out. The new board audited finances, uncovering inflated contracts and payments to her cousin's consulting firm. Neighbors rallied, turning the ditch into a community green zone with native plants and a plaque, reclaimed by neighbors, restored by nature. We laughed, worked, and healed together, free from Linda's shadow. Her house sat for sale, flood disclosures scaring buyers, her porch light off for weeks. One last storm tested us, but the ditch held. No floods, no chaos. I saw Linda on her porch, raincoat on, staring at the water's calm flow. No clipboard, no fight, just a flicker of something like regret. The neighborhood thrived, united, while Linda faded into silence, her throne washed away by the truth she tried to bury. What would you have done in my shoes? Fought Linda head-on, or let nature take its course? Should the neighborhood have pushed for harsher penalties, or was her downfall enough? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button if you felt a rush of justice, and subscribe for more stories where truth fights back.